My name is Rachel, and here's how my story begins. My parents said, "We've booked the entire week of July 4th at your new lake house. Whole family. 32 people, boats, grills, fireworks, the works." The email came on a Tuesday morning in late May. Subject line, "Family reunion plans finalized." I stared at my laptop screen, coffee halfway to my lips, as I read my mother's message 3 times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. "We've booked the entire week of July 4th at your new lake house. Whole family coming. 32 people total. Your father already arranged for boat rentals. I've ordered the grills, and Patrick is bringing professional-grade fireworks. This will be the reunion we've always dreamed of. So excited to finally see your beautiful new place. Don't worry about a thing. We're handling all the planning." My hands started shaking. I set the coffee down before I could spill it all over my desk. I didn't own a lake house. I'd never owned a lake house. What I did own was a modest 2-bedroom condo in downtown Portland that I'd scraped together every penny to afford after my divorce 3 years ago. The same condo my parents had visited exactly once, staying for 45 minutes before my mother declared it cozy in that tone that really meant disappointingly small. I scrolled down, hoping for context, some explanation that would make this make sense. Instead, I found an attached spreadsheet detailing sleeping arrangements, meal schedules, and activity rotations. According to my mother's color-coded planning, Aunt Veronica and her 4 kids would take the blue guest suite. Uncle Raymond and his family would occupy the western wing, and my parents naturally claimed the master bedroom with a lake view. My phone rang. "Mom, sweetheart, did you get my email? Isn't this exciting?" "Mom, I don't have a lake house." She laughed, that tinkling sound she made when she thought someone was being charmingly modest. "Oh, stop." Angela showed us all the pictures. "It's absolutely gorgeous. That wraparound deck, the private dock, the stone fireplace. You've really outdone yourself." "Angela, my older sister." "When did Angela show you pictures?" "At Easter dinner, remember." We were all gathered in Aunt Veronica's living room, and she pulled them up on her phone. The whole family was there. Everyone's been talking about it for weeks. I hadn't gone to Easter dinner. Angela told me it was canceled because Aunt Veronica had the flu. "Can you send me the pictures Angela showed you?" "Oh, honey, you know I'm terrible with that technology stuff." "But Angela has them all saved. She said you gave her a full tour when you bought it last winter. The place sleeps 24 comfortably," she said. "So with some air mattresses and the kids bunking together, 32 will be perfect." My stomach dropped into my shoes. Last winter. February specifically. When Angela had called me sobbing because her husband Tyler had just been laid off from his job as a regional sales manager. She'd been terrified about losing their house, about pulling their twin boys out of their private school. I'd offered her a loan. She'd asked for $30,000. I'd given her 40 because I knew pride would make her underestimate what they actually needed. I'd wiped out most of my savings, the emergency fund I'd been rebuilding since the divorce. She promised to pay me back within a year once Tyler found new work. Tyler found a new job in March, better paying than his old one. I hadn't seen a single dollar of repayment. "Mom, I need to go. Work emergency." I hung up before she could respond and immediately called Angela. She answered on the 4th ring, breathless. "Hey, can't really talk. I'm at the Twins soccer game." "What lake house?" Silence. Then, "Oh, Mom already contacted you." "Angela, what the hell is going on?" She sighed heavily like I was inconveniencing her. "Look, it was supposed to be a surprise. We were going to tell you closer to the date." "Tell me what?" "Tyler and I found this amazing property upstate. 6 bedrooms right on Lake Otsego. The owners needed to sell fast, so we got an incredible deal. We've been fixing it up as an investment property. With my $40,000, it was more of a business partnership. You provided capital. We provided the expertise and labor. You told me your mortgage was 3 months behind." It was. But then Tyler got the job offer with a $20,000 signing bonus, and we realized we didn't need a loan anymore. We needed an investment opportunity. The housing market upstate is exploding. This place is going to triple in value. My vision went white around the edges. "So instead of paying me back, you bought a house." "We bought you a house. You're an investor. You'll get returns." "I don't want returns. I want my $40,000 back." "God, you're being so dramatic. This is a good thing. And anyway, it's too late now. Mom's been planning this reunion for weeks. The whole family is coming. Grandma's flying in from Arizona. You can't cancel." "I can absolutely cancel something I never agreed to." "Do you know how embarrassing that would be? Everyone thinks this is your house. Mom's been bragging to the entire church. Aunt Veronica already bought matching family t-shirts. If you back out now, you'll look like a selfish..." "If I back out, Angela, you lied to everyone. You stole my money and then lied about it." "I didn't steal anything. We had a verbal agreement to repay a loan, not to become business partners in some scheme I never consented to. Whatever. Look, the reunion is happening. You can either be a team player or you can be the person who ruined everyone's 4th of July. Your choice. She hung up. I sat in my office, staring at nothing, trying to process what had just happened. My sister had taken my money under false pretenses, bought property with it, and then told our entire family I owned it. So she could what? Host a massive party at someone else's expense. I called my father. Pumpkin, your mother told me you two talked. This reunion is going to be something special. Dad, that's not my house. I know you're probably worried about hosting such a big group, but don't be. We'll all chip in. I'm bringing my smoker for the ribs, and Uncle Raymond is handling all the seafood. You won't have to cook a thing. No, Dad. I mean, I don't own that house. Angela owns it. Pause. What do you mean? I explained everything. The loan, Angela's lies, the fake investment partnership. When I finished, my father was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, Pumpkin, I'm sure there's been a misunderstanding. Angela wouldn't do something like that. She admitted it to me on the phone 10 minutes ago. Well, maybe she misunderstood what kind of arrangement you two had. Money between family members can be complicated. It wasn't complicated. She asked for a loan. I gave her a loan. She promised to pay it back. Have you considered that maybe this is better? Now you're building equity instead of just giving money away. I didn't want to build equity. I wanted to help my sister through a hard time. Look, whatever the confusion, it doesn't change the fact that the reunion is planned. Your mother's put a lot of work into this. Can we just table the financial stuff until after the holiday? We'll all sit down, have a family meeting, sort it out. A family meeting where I'd be outnumbered, 31-1, pressured to forgive and forget, told I was making a big deal out of nothing. Sure, Dad, we'll table it. I hung up and sat very still thinking. Then I called my friend Jessica, who was a real estate attorney. 3 hours later, I had a clear picture of the situation. Angela and Tyler had indeed purchased the Lake Otsego property in February. The deed was in both their names. They'd put down $60,000, my 40+ Tyler's signing bonus, and taken out a mortgage for the rest. Do you have anything in writing? Jessica asked. Text messages, emails, anything showing she promised to repay the money. I checked. Angela had been careful. All our conversations about the loan had been phone calls. The bank transfer just said for Angela in the memo line. Without documentation, it's going to be nearly impossible to prove this was a loan and not a gift. She told me it was a loan. I believe you, but proving it in court is different. You'd need to show she had intent to repay. Did she ever make any payments? No. Did she ever acknowledge the debt in writing after receiving the money? No. Jessica winced. I'm sorry. You might be able to pursue it, but it would be expensive, time-consuming, and far from guaranteed. Courts tend to assume money between relatives is a gift unless there's clear evidence otherwise. I thanked her and hung up. So Angela was going to get away with it. She'd stolen $40,000 from me, lied to our entire family, and there was nothing I could do about it legally. But I wasn't going to let her throw a party on my dime. I called the property management company that handled vacation rentals for Lake Otsego. After some searching, I found the listing for Angela's house. They'd started renting it out in April, charging $4,000 a week during peak season. The week of July 4th was blocked off as owner reserved. I asked to speak to a manager and explained that I was family of the property owners and needed to clarify something about the July 4th reservation. The manager, a woman named Patricia, was sympathetic but firm. I'm sorry, but we can't make changes to owner reservations without direct authorization from the account holders. What if I could prove the reservation was made under fraudulent circumstances? That would be a legal matter. We'd need to see documentation. I thanked her and moved to Plan B. Over the next week, I did research. Angela had used my money to buy the house, then started renting it out for profit without ever mentioning it to me. According to the rental listing, the house had been booked for most weekends from April through September, with several week-long reservations scattered throughout. At $4,000 a week, minus the management company's 30% cut, Angela and Tyler were clearing around $11,000 a month during peak season. My money was making them rich while I struggled to rebuild my savings. I thought about confronting her again, demanding my money back, threatening legal action, but I knew how it would go. She'd cry, play the victim, tell everyone I was attacking her during a family reunion. My parents would take her side, they always did. Angela was the golden child, the successful one with a handsome husband and the perfect twin boys. I was the divorced disappointment who lived in a small condo and worked too much. So I got creative. I created a fake email account and sent a message to Angela and Tyler's rental management company, claiming to be from the Lake Otsego Health Department. The email stated that multiple guests at the property had reported severe gastrointestinal illness after their stays, and the health department was launching an investigation into possible water contamination. The management company panicked and immediately suspended all bookings pending inspection. Angela called me that afternoon hysterical. Someone reported our house to the health department. They're saying the water is contaminated. Our upcoming bookings are being canceled. That's terrible, I said, keeping my voice neutral. We're losing thousands of dollars. Tyler is on the phone with the health department right now. But they're saying they never sent any notice. Someone is sabotaging us. Who would do that? I don't know, but when I find out, I'm suing them for everything they have. Have you considered just giving people their money back? I suggested. Maybe this is karma. Karma for what? For stealing $40,000 from me and lying about it. She sucked in a sharp breath. You did this. I have no idea what you're talking about. You lying. You sabotaged our rental business. I couldn't have. I don't own the house, remember. I'm just an unwilling investor with no documentation. I'm telling Mom. Go ahead. While you're at it, tell her how you used my money to buy it. She hung up. 20 minutes later, my mother called. What is wrong with you? Angela is beside herself. She's worked so hard on that property and you're trying to destroy it. Mom, she stole from me. She did no such thing. You gave her money and she invested it wisely. You should be thanking her. Thanking her for lying to the entire family about who owns the house. She was trying to be generous. She knew you couldn't afford a place like that on your own, so she told a little white lie to make you look better. She was doing you a favor. The audacity took my breath away. A favor. Yes, and this is how you repay her, by destroying her business. I'm ashamed of you. The reunion is canceled, Mom. It most certainly is not. We're still coming. Angela says the health department thing is just a misunderstanding and it'll be cleared up in a few days. Even if it is, I'm not coming. Don't be childish. I'm not being childish. I'm being someone who won't pretend everything is fine when my sister is a thief and a liar. If you don't come to this reunion, don't bother coming to any future family events. Understood. I understand. I hung up. Over the next 3 weeks, my phone exploded with messages. Cousins, aunts, uncles, all weighing in. Half thought I was overreacting. The other half didn't understand what was happening and just wanted to know if the reunion was still on. Angela, meanwhile, managed to get the health department confusion cleared up. There had never been an investigation. The management company apologized for the error and reinstated the bookings. But I wasn't done. In mid-June, I took a week off work and drove up to Lake Otsego. I rented a small cabin a few miles from Angela's property and did surveillance. On Tuesday, I watched as Tyler met with a contractor to discuss adding a hot tub to the back deck. They threw around numbers casually, eventually settling on $18,000 for the installation. On Wednesday, Angela arrived with an interior designer to discuss updating the furniture. I couldn't hear the exact quotes, but I saw them measuring windows for custom curtains. They were spending money they'd made from my investment without any intention of ever cutting me in or paying me back. Thursday, I went to the county assessor's office and pulled all the public records on the property purchase price, mortgage, amount, tax assessments. I made copies of everything. Friday, I visited 3 different rental properties on Lake Otsego and asked the owners about their experiences. 2 of them mentioned that Angela and Tyler had undercut their prices when they first started renting poaching several regular customers. I gathered testimonials, screenshots of Angela's rental listings showing the income they were generating, and documented everything meticulously. Back in Portland, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Angela's face at family gatherings, always smiling, always the center of attention. The way she'd leaned in conspiratorially to tell stories that made her look heroic. How she'd managed to turn every conversation back to her accomplishments, the twins' achievements at their expensive private school, Tyler's promotion, their recent kitchen renovation. I'd always felt diminished around her, like a shadow version of what our parents wanted. She got married at 25 to a man with an MBA. I got married at 27 to a teacher who turned out to be serially unfaithful. She had picture-perfect twins. I had a miscarriage that ended any chance of children. She lived in a 4-bedroom colonial. I lived in my modest condo. And now she'd taken the one thing I had that mattered, my financial stability, my carefully rebuilt life after divorce, and turned it into another trophy for herself. The website idea came to me at 300 in the morning. I sat up in bed, my heart racing, and grabbed my laptop. I wasn't a web designer, but I knew enough to use a template platform. I chose something clean and professional, nothing flashy or vindictive looking. The domain name took me 20 minutes to settle on. Finally, I chose legostruth.com. Then I went home and created a website. But before I published it, I added something else, a detailed financial breakdown. I showed exactly how much money Angela and Tyler had made from rentals since April. Conservative estimates accounting for their occupancy rate and the management fees put it at around $30,000 in just over 2 months. They'd already recouped 3/4 of my initial investment, and I hadn't seen a penny. I also included a section titled The Ripple Effects. In it, I detailed how the lie had spread. My mother bragging to her church group that I'd finally achieved something meaningful, my father telling his golf buddies about his daughter's impressive real estate investment, cousins asking me for advice on their own property searches. Conversations I'd had to awkwardly deflect because I had no idea what they were talking about. Angela hadn't just stolen my money. She'd stolen my identity and replaced it with a fiction that served her purposes. I added one final section, what I'm asking for. It wasn't dramatic. I didn't demand public apologies or groveling. I simply stated that I wanted my $40,000 returned, acknowledgement that the property was not mine, and honesty with our family about what had actually happened. Reasonable, straightforward, impossible to argue with. I saved everything as a draft and didn't publish it. Not yet. Instead, I sent Angela one final email, no phone call this time. I wanted documentation. Angela, this is your last opportunity to make this right before I take further action. I need the following. 1. My $40,000 returned in full by June 23rd. 2. A truthful explanation to our family about the property ownership. 3. A written acknowledgement that the money was a loan, not an investment or gift. If you can't agree to these terms, I will be forced to share the full truth with everyone. You have 72 hours to respond. She replied in 15 minutes. You're threatening me now. Seriously. After everything I've done for this family, everything I've sacrificed, you're going to blackmail me. Go ahead and tell everyone whatever lies you want. Tyler and I have lawyers, and we're prepared to defend ourselves against your slander. This conversation is over. I published the website at 11:47 p.m. on June 23rd. It was simple, clean, and factual. The headline read, "The Truth About the Legos Property." I laid out the timeline, Angela's request for a loan in February. The bank transfer showing I'd sent $49,000, the property purchased 2 weeks later with a $60,000 down payment, the rental income they'd been generating since April. The fact that Angela had told our entire family I owned the house to justify hosting a massive reunion there. I included screenshots of text messages where Angela had discussed her mortgage crisis. I included her rental listings showing monthly income. I included the property records showing her and Tyler as sole owners. I didn't editorialize, I didn't call her names. I just presented facts, dates, and documentation. Then I sent the link to every member of my extended family. The fallout was immediate. My phone started ringing at 6:00 in the morning. I didn't answer. Instead, I watched the website analytics. 93 visits in the first hour. Comments started appearing on the family Facebook group. Aunt Veronica. Is this real? Did Angela really do this? Uncle Raymond, I always thought something was fishy about that lake house story. Cousin Derek. This is messed up. Angela straight up lied to everyone. My mother's response came via voicemail. You are tearing this family apart over money. I didn't raise you to be this vindictive. Angela's response was more direct. She tried to have the website taken down, claiming defamation, but everything on it was true and documented. Her lawyer sent me a cease and desist letter. I sent back a response drafted by Jessica pointing out that truth is an absolute defense against defamation. The reunion date approached. I didn't hear much from anyone, but I monitored social media. The family group chat went silent. The matching t-shirts Aunt Veronica had ordered sat in boxes in her garage. In the days between publishing the website and July 4th, I received dozens of messages. Some were supportive, some were confused, and some were outright hostile. Cousin Madison wrote, "Holy, I had no idea. Angela's been acting like this was some joint venture you two planned together." Uncle Raymond called and left a voicemail. "I don't appreciate being made a fool of. Angela told me you'd given her permission to use your name for tax purposes. If I'd known the truth, I never would have agreed to come." My mother, predictably, was the most vicious. She sent a group email to the entire family defending Angela. "My daughter is going through a difficult time and has made some errors in judgment, but she does not deserve this public humiliation. What her sister has done is cruel and calculated, designed to destroy Angela's reputation over a simple business disagreement." A simple business disagreement. That's what $40,000 of theft had become in her mind. But the message that hit hardest came from my grandmother in Arizona, my father's mother. She was 86, sharp as ever, and had always been quietly supportive of me through my divorce and struggles. Sweetheart, I read everything on your website twice. I want you to know I believe you, and I'm appalled at what Angela did. I also want you to know I won't be attending the reunion. I've already canceled my flight. Your grandfather would have been furious about this. Rest his soul. He always said a person's word is their bond. Angela broke hers, and your parents are enabling her. I'm sorry you're going through this, but I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for telling the truth. I cried reading that message. My grandmother had always been the family matriarch, the one person whose opinion carried weight with everyone. Her withdrawal from the reunion sent shockwaves through the family. Aunt Veronica called me directly. Your grandmother just told me she's not coming. She explained why. I've been thinking about everything you wrote, and I owe you an apology. I got swept up in the excitement and didn't ask enough questions. The sleeping arrangements your mother sent me should have been a red flag. Why would you need us to assign bedrooms in your own house? I'm not coming either. One by one, people backed out. The group chat that had been buzzing with excitement in May was now a graveyard of deleted messages and uncomfortable silence. Angela tried to salvage it. She posted photos of the lake house on Facebook with captions like, "Can't wait to host the family reunion at our beautiful property only a few days away." But people weren't engaging. No likes, no comments, just crickets. Tyler sent me a private message on July 2nd. You've made your point. Angela is devastated. Is this really what you wanted? I responded I wanted honesty and my money back. Still waiting for both. He didn't reply. July 4th arrived. I spent it at a beachside resort in California drinking mojitos and reading a thriller novel. I booked the trip a week earlier, needing to physically remove myself from Portland and any possibility of family drama. The resort was adults-only, blissfully quiet, with a view of the Pacific that made my problems feel very small. Around 10 in the morning, I got a call from cousin Derek, Uncle Raymond's son. He was one of the few family members close to my age who I'd actually stayed in touch with over the years. You're not going to believe this, he said. I drove past Angela's lake house this morning. I live about 40 minutes away, and there are only 2 cars in the driveway, hers and Tyler's. Nobody else showed up. Nobody. Well, I saw your parents' car leaving as I pulled up to check it out. They looked pissed. I'm guessing they tried to make it happen and gave up when they realized it was just going to be them and Angela. I felt a complex mix of emotions. Satisfaction, definitely, but also something sadder. A grief for what could have been if Angela had just been honest from the start. Around noon, my phone buzzed. A text from my cousin Madison, one of the few family members who'd stayed neutral through everything. Thought you should know. Nobody showed up to the reunion. Angela and Tyler are at the lake house alone. Mom tried to rally everyone yesterday, but after your website, too many people had questions. The whole thing fell apart. Derek drove by this morning and said their cars were the only ones there. I smiled and ordered another mojito. Madison sent me a few more updates as the day went on. Angela and Tyler sitting alone on the dock. The massive grill my father was supposed to bring conspicuously absent, the professional fireworks Patrick had promised to bring, also nowhere to be seen. Just 2 people in a big, empty house that was supposed to be full of family. She keeps posting on Instagram like everything's fine. Madison messaged me. Pictures of the lake, the sunset, the deck. But you can tell from her captions she's trying way too hard. Perfect, quiet evening at the lake. And sometimes the best celebrations are intimate. It's desperate. I didn't respond. I was done obsessing over Angela's reactions. But the schadenfreude was real. I won't lie. 3 days later, I received a bank transfer $40,000 from Angela's account. No note, no apology, just the money. I deposited it and immediately transferred it to a high-yield savings account. An hour later, Angela called. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. You got your money. Happy now. I'd be happier with an apology. For what? For trying to help you build wealth, for trying to make you look good in front of the family, for lying, for stealing, for gaslighting me into thinking I was crazy for being upset. I didn't steal anything. We had different understandings of our agreement. No, Angela, you lied. You knew exactly what you were doing. Silence, then quietly. Everyone hates me now. Grandma won't return my calls. Aunt Veronica uninvited us from Thanksgiving. Mom is barely speaking to me. Maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to commit fraud. It wasn't fraud. It was exactly fraud. You obtained money under false pretenses and used it for purposes you knew I hadn't consented to. I paid you back. That should be the end of it. The money isn't the point anymore. The point is, you were willing to destroy my reputation, manipulate our entire family, and throw a massive party at a house you pretended was mine, all to avoid admitting what you did. So what do you want? You want me to grovel? I want you to understand why what you did was wrong, but I don't think you're capable of that. I hung up. Over the following weeks, various family members reached out. Some apologized for initially taking Angela's side. Others wanted to stay neutral and asked if I'd consider reconciling for the sake of family unity. I declined. My mother left a voicemail in mid-August. Your father and I are very disappointed in how you've handled this situation. Yes, Angela made mistakes, but you've been cruel and vindictive. She's your sister. Family should forgive. I didn't call back. In September, I got a group text from Angela. She'd sent it to the entire family. I want to apologize for the confusion and hurt feelings regarding the lake house situation. I recognize now that there were miscommunications about the financial arrangement, and I take responsibility for not being clearer from the start. I've repaid the money in full and hope we can all move forward. Miscommunications. Not lies, not theft, miscommunications. Several family members responded with heart emojis and "We forgive you" messages. I deleted the message without responding. In October, my mother called again. I answered this time. Thanksgiving is at our house this year. Both you and Angela are invited. Your father and I expect you to come and to be civil. Is Angela planning to actually apologize? She already apologized in that lovely message she sent everyone. That wasn't an apology. That was damage control. This is what I'm talking about. You're being unreasonable. She admitted she made mistakes. She admitted to miscommunications. She never admitted to lying, stealing, or manipulating everyone. Because she didn't do those things. She made some poor choices, but her heart was in the right place. Her heart was in $40,000 of my money. Everything isn't about money. You're right, it's about respect and trust. And Angela destroyed both. So you're not coming to Thanksgiving? Not if Angela's going to be there pretending nothing happened. Then I guess we won't see you. She hung up. Thanksgiving came and went. I spent it with friends, eating Thai food and watching movies. My friend group had become my chosen family over the past year. Jessica, the real estate attorney, who'd helped me understand my legal options. My coworker Brenda, who'd listened to me vent for hours about the whole situation. My neighbor Kevin, who'd been through his own family estrangement and understood the complicated grief of it. We gathered at Jessica's apartment, everyone bringing a dish. I made mashed potatoes, the one thing I could cook that didn't come from a box. Brenda brought her famous green bean casserole. Kevin surprised us with a homemade pumpkin pie that was better than anything I'd ever tasted. To chosen family, Jessica said, raising her wine glass. We all clinked glasses and I felt something settle in my chest. This was enough. These people who showed up for me, who didn't expect me to shrink myself or pretend everything was fine, they were enough. Later that evening, after everyone had left and I was cleaning up my phone, buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. This is Patrick, Angela's brother-in-law. I know we've never been close, but I wanted to reach out. I was supposed to bring those professional fireworks to the reunion. Angela called me 2 days before July 4th, crying, begging me to still come, even though everyone else had canceled. I told her I couldn't support what she'd done to you. She called me a traitor. Just wanted you to know that not everyone in Tyler's family thinks you're the villain here. I stared at the message, surprised. Patrick and I had met maybe 3 times at various family functions. He was Tyler's younger brother, a firefighter who lived in Seattle. I wrote back, "Thank you for telling me. That means a lot." He responded immediately. "Tyler's torn up about it. He keeps saying he should have insisted they pay you back right away. Angela keeps doubling down, insisting she did nothing wrong. Their marriage is pretty rocky right now because of it." Part of me felt guilty about that, but only a small part. Tyler was an adult who'd made his own choices. He'd known the money came from me under the pretense of a loan, and he'd gone along with using it to buy property instead. Christmas arrived. No invitation to my parents' house. No gifts from Angela. A card arrived with my father's name signed at the bottom, but the handwriting was my mother's, and the message was generic. Wishing you well on a winter scene that carefully avoided any religious imagery. She clearly sent it on his behalf, unable to completely cut me off, but unwilling to make a real effort. I'd expected the cold shoulder, but seeing it materialize still stung. On Christmas Eve, I went to a candlelight service at a church I didn't belong to, sitting in the back pew and listening to carols. A woman about my mother's age sat down next to me and smiled warmly. "First time here?" she asked. "Yes, just needed somewhere peaceful tonight." "Family troubles." I must have looked surprised because she laughed gently. "I've been doing this for 30 years. You get good at reading faces. I'm Martha, by the way. Nice to meet you." We sat together through the service, and afterward she invited me to a Christmas dinner her church was hosting for anyone who didn't have family plans. I almost said no pity invitations from strangers felt like rock bottom, but something in Martha's face stopped me. There was no pity there, just genuine warmth. Okay, I said, thank you. The dinner was in the church hall. Long tables set up with mismatched chairs and paper plates. There were maybe 40 people there. Elderly folks whose families lived far away, young adults estranged from parents, a few people who just seemed to prefer the company. I sat between Martha and a man named Christopher who'd recently moved to Portland for work and didn't know anyone. We talked about safe topics, the weather, good restaurants, Netflix shows. It was superficial but comforting. When someone asked if I had family nearby, I found myself saying, "It's complicated right now," and leaving it at that. Christopher nodded knowingly. Same. Haven't spoken to my dad in 3 years. Do you miss him? Every day. But not enough to go back to pretending his behavior is acceptable. That resonated deep in my bones. In January, about 8 months after the whole mess started, I ran into Aunt Veronica at a grocery store. She hugged me immediately. "I've been meaning to call you. I'm so sorry for how everything went down." "It's okay. It's not okay." I believed Angela without question because she's always been so convincing. But what she did to you was wrong. Thank you for saying that. Your mother is still furious with you, you know. She thinks you should have handled it privately instead of exposing Angela to the whole family. I tried handling it privately. Angela refused to acknowledge she'd done anything wrong. I know. For what it's worth, several of us have pulled back from Angela. She keeps trying to act like everything's normal, but people remember. Trust isn't easy to rebuild. We talked for a few more minutes, then exchanged numbers, and promised to stay in touch. As I drove home, I thought about everything that had happened. I'd lost my relationship with my parents, at least temporarily. I'd lost my sister, possibly permanently. I'd created a massive family rift that would take years to heal if it ever did. But I'd also gained something self-respect, the knowledge that I wouldn't be a doormat, even for family. The certainty that my boundaries mattered. And I had my $40,000 back. 2 weeks ago, I got a message from a number I didn't recognize. "This is Tyler. Angela doesn't know I'm reaching out. What you said about her not understanding why what she did was wrong, you were right. She genuinely thinks she was helping you by investing your money instead of using it to catch up on bills. She can't see that taking someone's money and using it differently than they intended is theft, even if the outcome is profitable. I've tried talking to her about it, but she just gets defensive. Anyway, I wanted you to know that at least one person in this situation sees your side clearly. I'm sorry for my part in it. I should have insisted we return your money immediately when I got the new job." I stared at the message for a long time before responding. "Thank you for saying that. It means more than you probably realize." He wrote back immediately. "For what it's worth, Angela's miserable. She won't admit it, but losing her relationship with you has destroyed her. She talks about you constantly, always justifying her choices, always insisting she was right. I think deep down she knows she wasn't. That's not my problem to fix. I know, I just thought you should know." I thanked him and didn't respond further. Last week I received a letter in the mail, handwritten, from Angela. It was 4 pages long. The first 3 pages were justifications, explanations of her thought process, descriptions of how hard she'd worked to make the lake house profitable. The final page was different. "I know you'll probably never forgive me. I know I destroyed something between us that can't be repaired. I want you to know that I do understand now why you were angry. Tyler helped me see it. You trusted me when I was desperate, and I betrayed that trust. I told myself I was being smart, making your money work harder. But really, I was just being selfish. I wanted the house. I wanted the income. I wanted to look successful. And I was willing to sacrifice our relationship to get those things. I'm sorry. I know sorry doesn't fix anything, but I needed to say it anyway." I read the letter 3 times, then put it in a drawer. Maybe someday I'll respond. Maybe I'll reach out and try to rebuild something. But not today. Today, I'm focused on myself. I'm taking a pottery class. I'm dating someone kind who doesn't have a complicated family. I'm saving money for a real vacation somewhere tropical where I can completely disconnect. My life is smaller now in some ways, quieter. Fewer family gatherings, fewer obligations to people who didn't value me. But it's mine, built on my terms with my boundaries intact. I sent my father a card back with a gift certificate to his favorite steakhouse, unsigned. He never acknowledged it, but I didn't need him to. It was my way of saying I still cared, even if I couldn't be around them right now. And that's worth more than any lake house could ever be.